The room smelled like vanilla candles and new carpet. My son's house, his living room, beige walls, beige furniture, beige curtains filtering afternoon sunlight into something soft and institutional, like a waiting room. Maybe that's what it was. They sat across from me. Jason, my son, 32 years old, wearing a button-down shirt he'd ironed himself. That was new. Angela, his wife, perched on the armrest beside him, one hand resting on his shoulder. Territorial, protective, like I might lunge across the coffee table. My wife, Linda, sat beside me on the couch, her hands folded in her lap. Quiet, watching. Jason cleared his throat. "Dad, we wanted to talk to you about some things." I nodded, waited. "We've been discussing this for a while," he continued. His eyes stayed on the coffee table. "Angela and I, we think it's time to make some changes, for everyone's benefit." Angela smiled. It didn't reach her eyes. "We're worried about you." I watched her hand tighten on Jason's shoulder, watched him straighten his spine like she'd pulled a string. "Worried," I repeated. "You're getting older," Jason said. "We just want to make sure things are in order, financially, legally." He finally looked at me. "We think it's best if we take over some responsibilities, power of attorney, managing certain accounts, just to simplify things." The words came out smooth, rehearsed, like he'd practiced in front of a mirror. I didn't say anything. "We've already talked to a lawyer," Angela added. "It's very standard, very normal for families to do this kind of planning." "We filled out most of the paperwork," Jason said. He pulled a folder from beside the couch, set it on the coffee table. "You just need to sign, then we can get everything squared away." I looked at the folder. Black, professional, 3-ring binder with plastic page protectors. Someone had used tab dividers, color-coded. "When did you talk to a lawyer?" I asked. Jason glanced at Angela. "A few weeks ago." "A few weeks?" "We didn't want to worry you with the details," Angela said. Her voice had that social worker cadence, gentle, firm. "We know how stressful this kind of thing can be." I leaned forward, picked up the folder, opened it. The first page was a power of attorney form. My name at the top, Jason's name in the designated agent section, 3 signature lines at the bottom. Blank. I flipped through, more forms. Account transfer authorizations, healthcare directives, each one partially filled out, each one waiting for my signature. "You did all this without asking me first," I said. "We're asking now," Jason said. I closed the folder, set it back on the table, looked at my son. He'd been a nervous kid. Bit his nails until he was 15. Used to ask me to check his homework twice, 3 times to make sure he got it right. When he went to college, he called home every Sunday. I did. Now he sat across from me with rehearsed words and a folder full of papers I'd never seen. "I'm not signing anything today," I said. Angela's smile faded. "We really think this is important. I'm sure you do." "Dad, we're trying to help," Jason said, an edge in his voice now, frustration creeping in. "Help with what?" "With making sure everything is taken care of, so you don't have to worry about it." "I'm not worried." "You should be," Angela said. "Things happen, medical emergencies, accidents. If we don't have these measures in place, it could create real problems." "What kind of problems?" She leaned forward. "The kind that tie up assets, that leave people without access to resources when they need them most." I looked at Linda. She hadn't moved, hadn't spoken, just watching, her face neutral. "We're not doing this to hurt you," Jason said. "We're doing it to protect you, to protect all of us." "From what?" He didn't answer, just looked at Angela again. She stood up. "Maybe you need some time to think about it," she said. "We understand this is a big decision, but it is the right decision, for everyone." I stood. Linda stood beside me. "I appreciate the concern," I said, "but I'm not interested." Jason stood too. "Dad, don't be stubborn about this." "I'm not being stubborn. I'm saying no." "You don't even want to think about it?" "I don't need to." Angela crossed her arms. "This is exactly why we're worried. You're not thinking clearly." "I'm thinking fine." "Are you?" She tilted her head. "Because from where we're standing, you're refusing help that you clearly need." "I don't need help." "Everyone needs help eventually," she said. "The smart thing to do is accept it before you're forced to." I looked at her, really looked at her. She'd been in our family for 8 years, always polite, always organized, always 3 steps ahead in every conversation. She planned birthday parties 6 months in advance. She sent thank you cards within 48 hours. She never forgot a name or a detail. She was standing in her living room telling me I wasn't thinking clearly. "We're leaving," I said. "Dad, wait." Jason stepped forward. "Just take the folder. Look it over. Talk to your own lawyer if you want. We're not trying to force anything." "Good." "But we are going to keep bringing this up," Angela said, "because it matters, and because someone has to be responsible here." I picked up my jacket from the arm of the couch. Linda grabbed her purse. "Thanks for the coffee," I said. "We didn't serve coffee," Angela replied. "Right." We walked to the door. Jason followed. "Dad, please, just think about what we said." I opened the door, stepped outside. The air was cooler than I expected. Late October, leaves on the driveway, the neighbor's dog barking somewhere. "I'll call you," Jason said. I didn't answer, just walked to the car. Linda got in the passenger side. I got behind the wheel. Through the window, I could see Jason standing in the doorway, Angela beside him, her hand on his arm, both of them watching us. I backed out of the driveway. They didn't wave. Linda waited until we were on the main road, then she said, "They've been planning this for a long time." "I know." "That folder wasn't thrown together last week." "No." She looked out the window. "They thought you'd just sign it." "Yeah." "They thought you'd be grateful." I didn't respond, just drove. We passed strip malls, gas stations, fast food restaurants. The city slid by in familiar patterns. Left turn at the elementary school, right turn at the fire station, straight through the intersection where the old video store used to be. Linda spoke again. "You're not going to let this go." "No." "What are you going to do?" "I don't know yet." She nodded, like that was the answer she expected. We pulled into our driveway 20 minutes later. The house was dark. I'd forgotten to leave the porch light on. Linda unlocked the door and we went inside. I dropped my jacket on the chair, stood in the kitchen. The refrigerator hummed. The clock on the wall ticked. Linda put her purse on the counter. They looked relieved when we left. They did. They think they're in control now. They think a lot of things. She opened the refrigerator, took out a bottle of water. "Are you angry?" I thought about it. "No." "What are you?" "Curious." She looked at me over the bottle. "Curious about what?" "About what else they've done." She set the bottle down. "You think there's more?" I know there's more. That folder wasn't a first step. It was a closing move. Then what was the first step? I didn't answer, just walked to my office. Turned on the light. The room was small, desk, filing cabinet, bookshelf, computer, everything organized the way I liked it. I sat down at the desk, opened the bottom drawer, pulled out a folder, old tax returns, bank statements, insurance policies. I'd kept copies of everything, always had. Linda appeared in the doorway. "What are you looking for?" "Patterns." "Of what?" "Of decisions I didn't make." She came into the room, sat in the chair across from the desk. "Start at the beginning." I laid out the documents, one by one. 6 months ago, Jason asked me to sign a form for his mortgage refinance. Said the bank needed a co-signer. "You signed it." "I did. Seemed normal. He'd done the same thing when he bought the house." "What else?" 4 months ago, Angela called. Said they were updating their estate planning. Wanted to list me as a backup executor, just in case. I said yes. "And?" 2 months ago, Jason asked if I'd ever set up a trust. I said no. He said I should think about it. Sent me some information. I looked at it. Didn't seem urgent. Linda watched me. "You're saying they've been setting something up?" "I'm saying they've been positioning." "For what?" "For control." I pulled out another document, a copy of Jason's mortgage refinance form. "This form has a clause, right here, page 3, grants him authority to act on my behalf for any financial decisions related to the property." Linda leaned forward. "You read the whole thing before signing?" "I skimmed it. He said it was standard." "It's not standard." "No." She sat back. "They've been building a case." "Yes." "That you're incompetent, or vulnerable, or whatever term they need to justify taking over." I nodded. "And today was supposed to be the final piece. Get your signature on those forms, and they'd have legal authority." "Right. But you didn't sign." "No." "So now what do they do?" I looked at the documents on my desk. At the signatures, the dates, the clauses hidden in paragraph 7 of page 3. "Now they escalate," I said. Linda stood. "You need to call a lawyer." "Maybe." "Not maybe. You need to protect yourself. From my own son. From anyone who's trying to take what's yours." I gathered the documents, stacked them, slid them back into the folder. "I'm not calling a lawyer yet." "Why not?" Because I want to know what else they've done first. And how are you going to find that out? I looked at her. I'm going to watch. And wait. For what? For them to make the next move. She shook her head. You're playing a game. They started it. That doesn't mean you have to finish it. I closed the drawer, turned off the desk lamp. Yes, it does. We went to bed an hour later. Linda fell asleep quickly. I didn't. I lay there in the dark, staring at the ceiling, thinking about vanilla candles and beige furniture and a folder full of forms. Thinking about my son's face when I said no. Thinking about Angela's smile when she said I wasn't thinking clearly. Thinking about how relieved they looked when we left. They thought they'd won something today. They thought my silence meant surrender. They were wrong. As the story unfolds, hit the hype button, like, subscribe, and write in the comments. Would you forgive them or walk away? I woke up at 6. Linda was already in the kitchen, making coffee. The house was quiet. Gray light filtered through the windows. Rain tapping on the roof. You slept 4 hours, she said. Close enough. She poured 2 cups, handed me one. You're going to work today? Yes. You should take the day off. And do what? Sit here and think about it more? She didn't argue, just sipped her coffee. I got dressed. Khakis, button-down shirt, work boots, same thing I'd worn for 30 years. My job wasn't glamorous. Facilities consultant, I assessed buildings, checked safety compliance, wrote reports about fire exits and ventilation systems and whether the emergency lighting actually worked. Most people found it boring. I found it clarifying. Buildings didn't lie. They either met code or they didn't. Doors either locked or they didn't. Systems either functioned or they failed. People were more complicated. I drove to the first site at 7:30, an old office building downtown, 4 stories, built in the 70s. The owner wanted to lease it out but needed an updated safety assessment first. I spent 3 hours walking through empty hallways, checking exit signs, testing fire alarms, taking notes. The building was fine, needed some electrical work, new panic bars on the south stairwell, but structurally sound. I wrote the report in my truck, sent it off by noon. My phone buzzed. Text message. Jason. Dad, I know yesterday was tough. Can we talk later this week? I stared at the message. Read it twice. Deleted it. Another buzz. Angela this time. Angela. Hope you're doing okay. We really do care about you. Let's find a time to sit down again. Without pressure. I deleted that one too. Linda called at 1. Jason called the house. What did he say? That he wants to talk. That he's worried he upset you. What did you tell him? That you were working, that you'd call him when you were ready. Good. He asked if you were mad. What did you say? I said I didn't know. I pulled out of the parking lot, headed toward the next site, an industrial park on the east side, 3 warehouses, routine inspection. Are you mad? Linda asked. No. Then what are you? I'm paying attention, she paused. They're going to keep pushing. I know. What are you going to do when they do? Nothing. Nothing? I'm going to let them push. Why? Because people reveal themselves when they push. They get louder, sloppier. They stop being careful. You want them to get sloppy. I want to see what they're really doing, she sighed. You're going to get hurt. Maybe. I don't like this. I know. But you're doing it anyway. Yes. She hung up. I finished the warehouse inspection by 4. Drove home. Linda was in the garden, pulling weeds. She didn't look up when I pulled into the driveway. Inside, I went back to my office, pulled out the folder again. This time, I looked at everything. Every document, every signature, every date, mortgage refinance, 6 months ago, estate planning, 4 months ago, trust inquiry, 2 months ago, and then yesterday, the folder, the power of attorney forms, a timeline, a progression. I opened my laptop, started searching, Jason's social media, Angela's social media. Nothing unusual. Family photos, vacation pictures, posts about local restaurants. Then I checked my own accounts, bank statements, credit cards, nothing out of place, but there was a charge I didn't recognize. Small, $35, from a law office I'd never heard of. Dated 3 months ago. I called the number. Law offices of Preston and Associates, a woman answered. Hi, I have a charge on my credit card from your office. I'm trying to figure out what it's for. What's the name on the account? I gave it. She typed. Oh, yes. That was for a consultation, document review. Who requested it? Let me check. It says here it was requested by Jason Mitchell. Is that your son? Yes. He called to ask about power of attorney procedures. We charged him for the consultation, but he used your card information for the payment. He used my card. Yes, sir. Is there a problem? No, thank you. I hung up. He'd used my credit card to pay for a consultation about taking control of my finances. I sat back, stared at the screen. Linda came in, dirt on her hands. What did you find? I told her. She didn't look surprised. He's been planning this for months, at least. And Angela's been helping. She's been leading. Linda washed her hands in the kitchen sink. You need to confront them. No. Why not? Because confrontation gives them a chance to regroup, to come up with explanations, to adjust their strategy. So what's your strategy? To disappear. She turned off the water. What does that mean? It means I stop engaging, stop answering, stop being available. They'll notice. That's the point. When people think they've lost access to something, they get anxious. They make mistakes. You want them to make mistakes. I want them to show me everything they've been hiding. She dried her hands. And if they don't, they will. People always do. That night, Jason called. I didn't answer. He left a voicemail. Dad, it's me. I know you're probably upset. I get it. But we really need to talk. This isn't just about the legal stuff. It's about family. About making sure everyone's okay. Call me back, please. I deleted the voicemail. Angela called an hour later. I didn't answer. No voicemail this time. Linda watched from the couch. How long are you going to do this? As long as it takes. They're going to escalate. I'm counting on it. She shook her head, went back to her book. The next morning, I left early. Spent the day at a storage facility on the north side. Another inspection, more reports. I turned my phone off. When I got home, there were 3 missed calls from Jason, 2 from Angela, 1 from a number I didn't recognize. I called the unknown number back. This is Dr. Ellis, a man answered. You called me. Yes, Mr. Mitchell, your son asked me to reach out. He's concerned about your health. He mentioned you've been acting differently lately, avoiding family, not returning calls. He wanted to know if I could schedule a wellness check. A wellness check. It's very routine, just a conversation, to make sure everything's okay. Who's paying you for this? I'm sorry? Who hired you? My son? A pause. Mr. Mitchell, I'm just trying to help. I don't need help. Your son seems to think my son is wrong. I hung up. Linda was standing in the doorway. They're calling doctors now. Apparently. To say what? That you're incompetent? To build a case that I am. She sat down. This is getting serious. It was always serious. What are you going to do? I looked at my phone, at the missed calls, at the number for Dr. Ellis still on the screen. I'm going to make them think they're winning, I said. How? By disappearing completely. You can't just disappear. Watch me. The next day, I didn't go to work. Didn't check my phone, didn't answer the door when someone knocked at noon. Linda looked through the window. It's Jason. Don't answer. He knows we're here. Your truck's in the driveway. I don't care. He knocked again. Harder. Dad, I know you're in there. Open the door. We waited. He knocked a 3rd time, shouted through the wood. Fine. If you're not going to talk to me, I'm going to do what I have to do. Footsteps, car door, engine starting. Linda looked at me. What did he mean by that? He meant he's going to escalate. To what? Something legal. Something that forces my hand. Can he do that? He can try. She sat beside me. You're not scared. No. You should be. Why? Because he's your son, and he's trying to take everything from you. He's not taking anything. He's showing me what he's capable of. And then what? I looked at her. Then I show him what I'm capable of. 2 days later, a certified letter arrived. Linda brought it in from the mailbox. It's from a law firm, she said. I opened it, read it. Petition for guardianship, filed by Jason Mitchell, claiming I was no longer capable of managing my own affairs, citing my recent behavior, my refusal to communicate, my avoidance of family, a court date, 3 weeks away. Linda read over my shoulder. They're trying to have you declared incompetent. Yes, you have to fight this. I will. How? I folded the letter, put it back in the envelope. By letting them think they've already won. She stared at me. You've lost your mind. No, I've just started paying attention. The doctor's appointment was at 9. Donna Pierce had arranged it. Dr. Sandra Malik, psychiatrist. specializes in competency evaluations. Her office was in a medical building on the west side, clean, modern, plants in the waiting room, soft music playing. Linda came with me. She sat in the waiting room while I went in. Dr. Malik was younger than I expected, 40 maybe, dark hair, calm voice. She gestured to a chair. "Have a seat, Mr. Mitchell." I sat. "I understand you're here for a competency evaluation." "Yes. Can you tell me why?" "My son filed a guardianship petition. Claims I'm not capable of managing my own affairs." "And what do you think?" "I think he's lying." She wrote something down. "Why would he lie?" "To get control of my money." "Has he said that?" "Not directly, but his actions speak clearly enough." "What actions?" I told her. The meeting, the folder, the bank accounts, the police visit, all of it. She listened without interrupting. When I finished, she said, "That sounds stressful." "It is." "How are you coping?" "I'm managing." "Are you sleeping?" "Not much." "Eating?" "When I remember." "Do you feel depressed?" "No." "Anxious?" "Focused." She raised an eyebrow. "Focused on what?" "On stopping them." "Your son and daughter-in-law." "Yes." "What does stopping them look like?" "Proving they're lying, proving I'm competent, winning in court." "And after that?" "After that, they lose." "What do they lose?" "Whatever they thought they'd gain." She wrote more notes. "Mr. Mitchell, do you think your son loves you?" "I used to think so." "What changed?" "He did. Or maybe I just started paying attention." "To what?" "To who he really is." "And who is that?" "Someone who values control more than family." She set her pen down. "I'm going to ask you some standard questions, just to assess cognitive function. Is that okay?" "Fine." She ran through the tests. Memory, reasoning, problem solving. I answered everything correctly. When we finished, she said, "You're clearly competent." "Will you put that in writing?" "Yes, I'll send a report to your lawyer." "Thank you." She walked me to the door. "Mr. Mitchell, can I give you some advice?" "Sure." "Whatever you're planning, be careful. Legal battles can destroy families." "My family's already destroyed." "Are you sure?" "Yes." She nodded. "Then I hope you win." I left. Linda was waiting in the truck. "How did it go?" "She said I'm competent." "Good." She also said I should be careful. "Will you?" "No." She started the truck. I didn't think so. We drove home. I spent the afternoon in my office going through documents again, looking for anything I'd missed. I found it around 4, a title transfer form for my house, dated 3 months ago, signed by me, except I'd never signed it. I held the paper up to the light. The signature looked like mine, but the pen pressure was wrong. Too light, too hesitant. Someone had forged it. I called Donna Pierce. "What is it?" she answered. "I found a forged signature on a title transfer form." "For what property?" "My house." "When was it signed?" 3 months ago, but I never signed it." "Where did you find it?" "In my files, mixed in with other paperwork." "Do you know who forged it?" "I have a guess." "Jason." "Yes." She was quiet for a moment. "This is serious. Forgery is a felony." "I know." "Do you want to press charges?" "Not yet." "Why not?" "Because I want to use it in court first." "You're building a case." "Yes." "And you're willing to wait." "As long as it takes." She sighed. "You're playing a dangerous game." "I'm playing the only game I can." "Then don't lose." I hung up. Linda came into the office. "What did you find?" I showed her the form. She stared at it. "He forged your signature." "Yes." "To transfer the house to himself." "Probably. Or to set up the transfer. So when the guardianship goes through, he can execute it." "That's theft." "That's planning." She set the form down. "You have to stop him." "I will." "When?" "In court. When it matters." "And if the judge doesn't believe you?" "Then I'll make sure everyone else does." She looked at me. "What does that mean?" "It means I'm not just fighting this in court. I'm fighting it everywhere." "How?" "By making sure everyone knows what they did." "Who's everyone?" "Family, friends, neighbors, anyone who'll listen. You're going to humiliate them. I'm going to expose them." "Same thing." "Maybe." She shook her head. "You're becoming someone I don't recognize." "Good." "Good?" "They underestimated me because I was predictable, quiet, easy to manage. I'm not that person anymore." "Who are you now?" Someone who fights back. She left the room. I stayed at my desk, looked at the forged signature, at the title transfer form, at the pile of evidence growing in the folder. Jason had been careful, but not careful enough. Every move he'd made left a trail. Every lie created a contradiction. Every forgery exposed his intent, and I had it all. I pulled out my phone, took a photo of the title transfer form, sent it to Donna Pierce. She replied 5 minutes later. "This is enough. We can win." I typed back, "I don't want to just win. I want them to lose everything." She didn't respond. That night, Jason called again. I answered. "Dad, we need to stop this." "Stop what?" "This fight, this legal battle. It's tearing the family apart. The family's already apart." "No, it's not. We can fix this. We can sit down and talk, work something out." "There's nothing to work out." "Yes, there is. If you just sign the paperwork." "I'm not signing anything." "Dad, please, be reasonable." "I am being reasonable. You're the one who filed a guardianship petition. Because I'm worried about you. You're worried about my money." "That's not true." "Then why did you forge my signature on a title transfer form?" Silence. "I don't know what you're talking about," he finally said. "Yes, you do." "Dad, I never—" "You forged my signature to transfer my house, probably to yourself or to some shell company Angela set up. Either way, it's fraud. I didn't— I have the form. I have the signature. I have proof." He didn't respond. "Still think I'm incompetent?" I asked. "Dad, if there's been some kind of mistake—" "There's been no mistake. Just theft. Just lies. Just a son who decided his father's assets were worth more than his integrity. That's not fair. Neither is what you did." "I was trying to help." "You were trying to steal." "That's not—" I hung up. Linda stood in the doorway. "You told him?" "Yes." "Why? I thought you wanted to keep that for court?" "I do, but I wanted to see how he'd react." "And?" He panicked. "Good." I looked at her. "You're okay with this?" "With what?" "With me destroying him." "He's trying to destroy you first." "That doesn't make it right." "No, but it makes it necessary." I nodded. She came into the room, sat beside me. "When this is over, what happens?" "I don't know." "Will you forgive him?" "No." "Will you ever talk to him again?" "Probably not." "You're okay with that?" "I have to be." She took my hand. "I'm proud of you." "For what?" "For fighting. For not giving up. For being stronger than they thought." "I'm not strong. I'm just stubborn." "Same thing." We sat in silence. Outside, the wind picked up. Rain started tapping on the windows. 3 weeks until court," she said. "I know." "Are you ready?" "Almost." "What's left?" "One more thing." "What?" "I need to talk to Angela." "Why?" "Because she's the one pulling the strings. Jason's just following her lead." "What are you going to say?" "I'm going to give her a chance to back down." "She won't." "I know, but I'm going to give her the chance anyway." "Why?" "Because when this is over, I want to make sure everyone knows I tried to do this the right way. And when she refuses, then I do it the hard way." The next morning, I drove to Angela's office. She worked at a nonprofit. Community Outreach Coordinator. Nice title, nice office, nice view. I walked in without an appointment. The receptionist looked up. "Can I help you?" "I'm here to see Angela Mitchell." "Do you have an appointment?" "No, but I'm her father-in-law. She'll see me." The receptionist looked uncertain. "Let me check." She picked up the phone, spoke quietly, hung up. "She says she's busy. Tell her I'm not leaving until we talk." Another phone call, more quiet conversation. "She'll give you 5 minutes." "That's all I need." I followed the receptionist down a hallway. She knocked on a door, opened it. Angela sat behind a desk, professional, composed. She gestured to a chair. "What do you want?" I closed the door, sat down. "I want you to drop the guardianship petition." "No." "Then I want you to explain why you're doing this." "I already did. Jason's worried about you." "Jason does what you tell him to?" She smiled. "He's a grown man. He makes his own decisions." "No, he makes your decisions. He always has." "That's not true." "Isn't it? You've been planning this for months. The folder, the forms, the bank accounts, the forged signatures, all of it. And Jason's just going along because he doesn't want to disappoint you." "You're delusional." "Am I? Because I have evidence that says otherwise." "What evidence?" The title transfer form, the bank statements, the credit card charges, all of it points to you. She leaned back. You have nothing. I have enough? Then why are you here? To give you a chance. A chance to do what? To walk away. Drop the petition, return the money. Admit what you did, and we can end this without destroying everyone. She laughed. You think I'm afraid of you? You should be. Why? You're an old man. You have no power, no resources, no leverage. All you have is stubbornness, and that's not enough? We'll see, she stood. Get out of my office. Not until you answer one question. What? Why? Why go through all this? What do you get out of it? She stared at me. Security. Control. A future that isn't dependent on waiting for you to die. So it's about money. It's about planning. Jason and I have worked hard. We've built a life, and we're not going to watch it fall apart because you're too stubborn to accept help. Help. That's what you're calling it. That's what it is. No, it's theft. It's manipulation. It's turning my son against me for your benefit. He's not against you. He's protecting you. From what? From yourself. I stood. I gave you a chance. You refused. Don't say I didn't warn you. Warn me about what? About what happens next. She crossed her arms. I'm not scared of you. You will be. I left. The receptionist watched me walk past. I didn't look back. Linda was waiting in the truck. What did she say? She refused. Did you expect anything else? No, but now I know for sure. Know what? That she's not going to stop. That she's committed. That this goes all the way. So what's the plan? We finish what we started. Which is? Exposing them. In court, in public, everywhere. She nodded. Then let's get to work. 2 weeks until court. I spent every day preparing. Donna Pierce helped. We built a timeline, every interaction, every document, every lie, organized, indexed, ready to present. She spread everything out on her conference table. This is solid. The judge will see it clearly. What about the forged signature? That's the linchpin. If we can prove Jason forged that document, everything else falls into place. How do we prove it? Handwriting analysis. I've already sent the form to an expert. He'll compare it to Jason's known signatures. How long? A week, maybe less. And if it matches? Then Jason's in serious trouble. Forgery is a felony. Even if we win the guardianship case, he could face criminal charges. Good. She looked at me. You want him prosecuted. I want consequences. Those are different things. Not to me. She gathered the papers. I'll have everything ready by the hearing. You just need to show up and tell the truth. I will. And stay calm. No matter what they say, no matter how they provoke you. I'll try. Don't try. Do it. If you lose your temper, the judge will use it against you. I understand. I left her office, drove home. Linda was in the kitchen, making dinner. How did it go? She asked. Good. She thinks we'll win. Do you? Yes. Then why do you look worried? Because winning in court isn't enough. What else do you want? I want them to understand what they did. They won't. I know, but I want them to face it anyway. She stirred the pot on the stove. You've changed. How? You used to avoid conflict. Now you're running toward it. I'm not running toward it. I'm accepting it. That's the same thing? Maybe. She turned off the stove. What happens after the hearing? We move on. Can we, after all this? We have to. She dished out the food. We ate in silence. That night Jason called. I didn't answer. He left a voicemail. Dad, I know we're past talking, but I need you to understand something. I'm not the enemy. I'm your son. I care about you, and I'm sorry things ended up like this, but I'm not backing down. I believe I'm doing the right thing, and I hope someday you'll see that. I deleted the message. Linda heard it from the hallway. He sounds sincere. He always does. Do you think he believes what he's saying? Probably. People always justify their own actions, even when they're wrong. Especially when they're wrong. The next week passed slowly. I kept working, kept preparing, kept waiting. The handwriting analysis came back on Thursday. Donna called. The expert confirmed it. The signature on the title transfer form was forged, and it matches Jason's handwriting patterns. You're sure? 98% certain. The expert will testify if needed. Good. There's more. I did some digging into that property management company, the one Jason's been paying from your account. And? It's a shell company. Registered to Angela. She's been funneling your money into it for months. How much? About $12,000. 12,000? Yes, small amounts. But it adds up. What was she using it for? I don't know yet, but I'm working on it. Let me know what you find. I will. And one more thing. The judge assigned to your case is Judge Harrison. She's fair, thorough. She doesn't like being lied to. That works in our favor. It does, as long as you're telling the truth. I am. Then we'll win. I hung up. Linda was watching from the doorway. What did she say? The signature was forged, Angela's been stealing, and the judge is on our side. Then it's over. Not yet. Why not? Because I want to know what Angela was using that money for. Does it matter? It might. I called Donna back. Can you trace where the money went after Angela moved it? I can try, but it'll take time. We have 5 days. I'll do what I can. She called back 2 days later. I found it. Found what? Where the money went. Angela used it to pay a private investigator. To investigate who? You. I sat down. She hired someone to follow me. Yes, for 3 months. They tracked your movements, documented your routines, built a profile. For what? To use in court, to support the guardianship petition, to prove you're not capable of managing your own affairs. What did they find? Nothing. You're completely normal. But that didn't stop Angela from trying. She's desperate. She's thorough. And she's not going to give up easily. Neither am I. The day before the hearing, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, thinking about what was coming. Linda rolled over. You're awake? Yes. Nervous? No. Liar. I smiled. Maybe a little. She took my hand. You're going to win. I know. Then why can't you sleep? Because I'm thinking about what comes after. After what? After we win. After they lose. After everyone knows what they did. What about it? I'm wondering if it's worth it. Worth what? Losing my son. She squeezed my hand. You already lost him. He chose this. Not you. I know, but it still hurts. It should. That means you're human. We lay there in the dark. The clock ticked. The wind rattled the windows. Do you regret it? She asked. Regret what? Fighting back. No. Then stop second-guessing yourself. I'm not second-guessing. I'm just acknowledging the cost. The cost is worth it. Is it? Yes. Because if you'd let them win, you'd lose everything. Your money, your home, your dignity. At least this way, you keep who you are. Who am I? Someone who doesn't give up. I closed my eyes. I hope you're right. I am. The next morning, we got dressed. I put on a suit. Linda wore a dress. We looked like we were going to a funeral. Maybe we were. The courthouse was downtown, gray building, stone steps, metal detectors at the entrance. Donna met us in the lobby. Ready? Yes. Remember what I said. Stay calm. Let me do the talking. You just answer the questions honestly. I will. We walked to the courtroom. Jason and Angela were already there, sitting with their lawyer, a man in an expensive suit with a briefcase full of papers. Jason looked at me. I didn't look back. The bailiff called the court to order. Judge Harrison entered. She was older than I expected, gray hair, sharp eyes. She sat behind the bench and looked at the room. This is a hearing on a petition for guardianship, she said, filed by Jason Mitchell on behalf of his father, David Mitchell. Let's begin. Jason's lawyer stood. Your Honor, we're here today because Mr. Mitchell is no longer capable of managing his own affairs. He's isolated himself from family. He's refused medical care. He's shown signs of paranoia and irrational behavior. We believe guardianship is necessary to protect him and ensure his well-being. Judge Harrison looked at me. Mr. Mitchell, how do you respond? I stood. I'm fine, Your Honor. I'm not isolated. I'm not paranoid. I'm just refusing to be controlled by my son. Can you elaborate? My son has been trying to take control of my finances for months. He's forged my signature. He's stolen money from my accounts. He's lied to doctors and police to make me look incompetent. This guardianship petition is just his latest attempt. Jason's lawyer interrupted. Your Honor, these are baseless accusations. I have proof, I said. Judge Harrison raised her hand. Let's hear the evidence. Donna stood. She presented everything. The timeline, the forged signature, the bank statements, the handwriting analysis, the private investigator reports. It took an hour. When she finished, Judge Harrison looked at Jason's lawyer. Do you have a response? He stood. Your Honor, my client acted in good faith. He believed his father needed help. Any actions he took were motivated by concern, not malice. Concern doesn't justify forgery, Judge Harrison said. We dispute the handwriting analysis. I don't. The expert's credentials are impeccable, and the evidence is clear. Mr. Jason Mitchell forged his father's signature on a legal document. That's a serious crime. Jason's lawyer sat down. Judge Harrison looked at Jason. Mr. Mitchell, stand up. Jason stood. Did you forge your father's signature? Yes or no? I thought I was helping. Yes or no? He looked at Angela. She stared straight ahead. Yes, he finally said. The courtroom was silent. Judge Harrison leaned forward. You forged a legal document. You stole money from your father's accounts. You hired a private investigator to build a case against him. And then you filed a guardianship petition claiming he was incompetent. Is that correct? I was trying to protect him. Answer the question. Yes. She sat back. Petition denied. Mr. David Mitchell is clearly competent, and Mr. Jason Mitchell is clearly not acting in his father's best interests. I'm referring this case to the district attorney's office for possible criminal prosecution. Jason's face went white. Court is adjourned. The gavel hit the bench. Donna turned to me. We won. I know. How do you feel? Empty. Jason stood, walked toward me. Dad, don't. I'm sorry. You're not sorry. You're caught. There's a difference. Angela grabbed his arm. Let's go. They left. Linda took my hand. It's over. Not yet. What do you mean? I mean there's one more thing I need to do. We left the courthouse. Donna walked us to the parking lot. The district attorney will contact you, she said. They'll want a statement. I'll give them whatever they need. And if they press charges? I'll cooperate, she nodded. You should feel good about this. You won. I don't feel good. Why not? Because my son is going to prison. That's not your fault. It feels like it is. She put a hand on my shoulder. You didn't do this. He did. You just refused to be a victim. I know, but it still hurts. It should. That means you're not like him. She left. Linda and I sat in the truck. Neither of us moved to start it. What now? She asked. Now I finish it. Finish what? Making sure they understand what they did. They already understand. No. They understand they got caught. That's different from understanding they were wrong. You can't make someone admit they're wrong. I can try. She shook her head. Let it go. I can't. Why not? Because if I let it go, they'll do this to someone else someday. Maybe not me, but someone. And I can't live with that. So what are you going to do? I'm going to make sure everyone knows what they did. How? I'm going to tell the truth. Everywhere. To everyone. You're going to humiliate them. I'm going to expose them. She started the truck. Then let's go. We drove to Jason's house. His car was in the driveway. So was Angela's. I knocked on the door. Jason answered. He looked exhausted. What do you want? To talk? We have nothing to talk about. We have everything to talk about. He started to close the door. I put my hand on it. I'm not leaving until you listen. Angela appeared behind him. He said leave. And I said no. We'll call the police. Go ahead. I'll tell them the same thing I told the judge. That you're thieves, that you're liars, that you're criminals. Jason's face flushed. Get out. Not until you admit what you did. I already admitted it, in court. You admitted you got caught? That's not the same thing. What do you want from me? I want you to say you were wrong. I want you to apologize. I want you to understand what you did to me. I was trying to help. You were trying to steal. Don't lie about it now. Angela stepped forward. You're delusional. Am I? Because the judge didn't think so. The handwriting expert didn't think so. The bank statements don't think so. You set us up. No, you set yourselves up. I just documented it. Jason looked at me. Why are you doing this? Because you need to understand. You need to know what it feels like to be powerless, to be manipulated, to have someone you trust turn against you. I never turned against you. Yes, you did. The moment you decided my money was more important than my trust. He didn't respond. You're my son, I said. I raised you. I taught you right from wrong. And you chose wrong anyway. Why? Because I was scared. Scared of what? Scared of losing everything. Scared of not having enough. Scared of ending up like... He stopped. Like me? I finished. He looked down. You think I'm a failure, I said. No. You think because I'm not rich, I'm not successful. Because I don't have a big house or a fancy car, I'm not worth respecting. That's not true. Then why did you do this? Because Angela said, don't blame her. You made the choice, you signed the forms, you forged the signature, you stole the money. That was all you. He leaned against the doorframe. I'm sorry. No, you're not. You're just sorry you got caught. That's not fair. Neither is what you did. Angela pulled him back. We're done here. She closed the door. I stood on the porch for a moment. Then I walked back to the truck. Linda looked at me. Did it help? No. Then why did you do it? Because I needed to try. We drove home. That night, I couldn't sleep again. I kept thinking about Jason's face, about the way he looked when he said he was sorry. He wasn't sorry. He was defeated. And that should have felt good. It should have felt like justice. But it just felt hollow. Linda found me in the kitchen at 2 a.m. You're thinking too much. I can't help it. What are you thinking about? About whether I did the right thing. You did. Did I? Because it doesn't feel right. It never does. Winning at someone else's expense always leaves a scar. Then why do it? Because the alternative is worse? I looked at her. Is it? Yes. If you'd let them win, you'd spend the rest of your life regretting it. At least this way, you fought back. And destroyed my relationship with my son in the process. He destroyed that relationship, not you. I could have handled it differently. How? I don't know, but there must have been another way. She sat beside me. There wasn't. You gave him chances. You tried to talk. You tried to reason. He refused every time. What else could you have done? I could have forgiven him. Before or after he stole everything from you. I didn't answer. You did the right thing, she said, even if it doesn't feel like it. The next week, the district attorney called. They wanted to press charges, forgery, theft, fraud. I gave them my statement, answered their questions, provided the evidence. This is a strong case, the prosecutor said. Your son is looking at serious time. How serious? 3 to 5 years, maybe more. I nodded. Do you want to proceed? Yes. Even though he's your son? Especially because he's my son. He needs to understand there are consequences. Understood. We'll be in touch. I left the office. Linda was waiting outside. What did they say? They're pressing charges. Good. He's going to prison. He should. He's my son. He's also a criminal. We drove home in silence. The trial was set for 3 months later. I didn't attend. Donna updated me. Jason pled guilty. Got 4 years. Angela wasn't charged, but her reputation was destroyed. She lost her job, lost her friends, lost everything. Jason sent me a letter from prison. I didn't open it, just put it in a drawer. Linda asked if I was going to read it. No. Why not? Because there's nothing he can say that will change anything. You're still angry. I'm not angry. I'm done. Those are different things. Not to me. She didn't push. A year passed, then another. Jason got out early for good behavior. I didn't see him, didn't call, didn't write. He tried to reach out a few times. I ignored it. Linda asked if I'd ever forgive him. No. Even if he's sorry? Being sorry isn't enough. Then what would be enough? Nothing. There's no fixing this. She looked sad. That's tragic. That's reality. She didn't argue. I went back to work. Back to my routine. Back to my life. But something had changed. I'd won. I'd protected myself. I'd exposed them. And it felt like losing anyway. Linda noticed. You're not happy. I'm fine. You're not fine. You're haunted. By what? By what you did. I did what I had to. That doesn't make it easier. No, it doesn't. She sat beside me. Do you regret it? No, but I hate that it was necessary. That's human. Is it? Yes, it means you still care, even after everything. I wish I didn't. I know, but you do, and that's okay. I didn't respond. It's okay to feel conflicted, she said. It's okay to win and still feel like you lost something. What did I lose? Your son. I lost him a long time ago. No, you lost him when you realized who he really was. That's different. She was right. I'd lost Jason the moment I understood he was willing to steal from me, the moment I saw the truth behind the smiles and the rehearsed words, and no amount of legal victories could bring him back, because the person I'd lost never really existed. 3 years after the trial, I got a call. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Dad? Jason's voice. Older. Quieter. What do you want? I wanted to talk. We have nothing to talk about. Please, just 5 minutes. I almost hung up, but I didn't. Fine. 5 minutes. Thank you. I wanted you to know I understand now. What I did. Why it was wrong. I've had a lot of time to think. To see things clearly. And I'm sorry. Really sorry. Not because I got caught, but because I hurt you. Because I betrayed you. Because I chose money over family. I didn't respond. I know you'll never forgive me, he continued. I don't expect you to, but I wanted you to know that I get it now. I understand what I did to you, and I'm sorry. Are you done? Yes. Good. Don't call again. I hung up. Linda looked at me. Was that Jason? Yes. What did he want? To apologize. Did you accept it? No. Why not? Because an apology doesn't undo what happened. But it's a start. A start to what? Rebuilding a relationship that never really existed? Pretending everything's okay when it's not? He sounded sincere. Maybe he was. It doesn't matter. She sat down. You're never going to forgive him. No. Even if he's changed. Even then. That's harsh. That's honest. She shook her head. You're punishing yourself as much as you're punishing him. I'm protecting myself. From what? From being hurt again. He can't hurt you anymore. You already know who he is. Exactly. And knowing that means I can't let him back in. She didn't argue. Just looked at me with that same sad expression she'd worn for 3 years. I went back to work. Back to my routine. Back to inspecting buildings and writing reports and pretending everything was fine. But it wasn't fine. Jason's call haunted me. Not because I believed him, but because I wanted to. I wanted to believe he'd changed. That he understood. That he was genuinely sorry. But I couldn't. Because believing him meant risking everything again. And I wasn't willing to do that. Linda noticed. You're thinking about him. No, I'm not. Liar, I smiled. Maybe a little. What are you thinking? About whether I made the right choice. You did. How do you know? Because you're still here, still whole, still yourself. If you'd forgiven him without him earning it, you'd be hollow. You'd be someone who let themselves be used because it was easier than standing up. Standing up feels pretty hollow too. That's the cost, but it's worth it. I nodded, but I wasn't sure I believed her. 6 months later, Jason tried again. This time, a letter. I opened it this time. Against my better judgment. It was short. Dad, I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm not asking for anything. I just want you to know that I think about you every day, about what I did, about what I lost, and I'm sorry. Not because I want something from you, but because it's true. I hope you're happy. I hope you're healthy. And I hope someday you can find peace with what happened. Jason. I folded the letter, put it back in the envelope, set it on my desk. Linda saw it. What did it say? That he's sorry. Do you believe him? I don't know. What are you going to do? Nothing. Why not? Because doing nothing is easier than deciding whether to trust him. That's cowardice. Maybe. She left the room. I sat at my desk, looked at the letter, at the handwriting, at the signature. It was Jason's handwriting. I'd know it anywhere. I'd seen it on school assignments and birthday cards and now on a forged legal document. And I couldn't separate those things. Couldn't see the signature without remembering the forgery. Couldn't hear his voice without remembering the lies. That's what he'd taken from me. Not my money, not my property, but my ability to see him as my son. And that was the real theft. I put the letter in a drawer, closed it, tried not to think about it, but I thought about it constantly, for weeks, then months. Linda finally said, "You need to decide." Decide what? Whether you're going to forgive him or not. I've already decided. No, you haven't. You're stuck in limbo, unable to forgive but unable to fully let go. So what should I do? That's up to you. But you can't stay here. It's eating you alive. I'm fine. You're not fine. You're miserable. I'm managing. That's not the same thing. She was right. I was miserable. But I didn't know how to fix it. I couldn't forgive Jason. But I couldn't forget him either. And that was the trap. Another year passed. Jason stopped trying to contact me, stopped calling, stopped writing. I told myself that was what I wanted. But it felt like losing him all over again. Linda noticed. You miss him. No, I don't. Yes, you do. You miss the idea of him, the son you thought you had. That son never existed. I know, but you're still grieving him. I don't grieve criminals. You grieve the loss of who you thought he was. That's not the same thing. I didn't respond. She sat beside me. You're allowed to be sad. I'm not sad, I'm angry. You're both. Anger is easier. Maybe, but it's not healthier. I don't care about healthy. I care about survival. You're surviving, but are you living? I looked at her. What's the difference? Living means letting yourself feel things, even the hard things, even the painful things. Survival is just going through the motions. Then I'm surviving. I know, and it breaks my heart. I didn't know what to say to that. She left the room. I sat alone, thought about what she'd said, about survival versus living. She was right. I was surviving, going through the motions, working, eating, sleeping, but not really living, because living required connection, required letting people in, required risking being hurt, and I wasn't willing to do that anymore. Not with Jason, not with anyone. That night, I dreamed about the meeting at Jason's house, the one where it all started. But in the dream, I said yes. I signed the forms, I let them take control, and in the dream, they destroyed me, took everything, left me with nothing. I woke up in a cold sweat. Linda was beside me. Nightmare? Yes. About Jason? Yes. What happened? I let them win. She took my hand. You didn't let them win. You fought back. You protected yourself. I know, but it doesn't feel like winning. It never does. Then what's the point? The point is you're still here, still whole, still you. I looked at her. Am I? Because I don't feel like myself anymore. Who do you feel like? Someone colder, harder, more closed off. That's what survival does. It changes you. I don't like who I've become. Then change. How? By letting go. I can't. Yes, you can. You just don't want to. She was right. I didn't want to let go. Because letting go meant accepting that Jason was gone, that the relationship was over, that there was no fixing it. And accepting that felt like giving up. But maybe giving up wasn't the same as surrendering. Maybe it was just acknowledging reality. Maybe it was time to stop fighting a battle that was already over. I didn't call Jason, didn't write, didn't reach out, but I stopped hating him. Stopped thinking about him every day, stopped letting the anger consume me. And slowly, over time, I started to feel like myself again. Not the person I was before. That person was gone. But someone new. Someone who'd survived. Someone who'd learned what they were capable of when pushed. Someone who understood that sometimes winning means losing something you can't get back. And that's okay. Because the alternative is worse. 5 years after the trial, Linda died. Heart attack. Quick. Painless, they said. But it wasn't painless for me. I found her in the garden, kneeling in the dirt, hands in the soil, like she'd just fallen asleep, but she hadn't fallen asleep. She was gone, and I was alone. The funeral was small, a few friends, some neighbors, Linda's sister. Jason didn't come. I didn't expect him to. He probably didn't even know. I stood at the grave and thought about how Linda had been the only person who understood, the only person who saw what Jason had done and didn't try to fix it, didn't try to make me forgive him, didn't try to smooth things over. She just stood beside me and let me be angry. And now she was gone. I went home to an empty house, to silence, to rooms that felt too big and too quiet. I tried to work, but I couldn't focus. Tried to sleep, but I couldn't. Tried to eat, but food tasted like nothing. I was surviving, but I wasn't living. A week after the funeral, I got another letter from Jason. Dad, I heard about Mom. I'm so sorry. I know we're not speaking. I know you don't want to hear from me, but I wanted you to know that I loved her, and I'm sorry I wasn't there. If you need anything, please let me know. Jason. I read the letter 3 times, then I threw it away. But that night, I pulled it out of the trash. Read it again. He'd loved Linda, I knew that. She'd always been kind to him, even after everything, even when I couldn't be. She'd told me once, he's still your son, no matter what he did. And I'd said, that doesn't mean I have to forgive him? And she'd said, no, but it means you don't have to hate him either. I hadn't understood what she meant then, but I understood now. I didn't hate Jason. I hadn't for a long time. I just didn't know how to be around him. Didn't know how to reconcile the person I thought he was with the person he'd shown himself to be. And Linda had been the buffer, the person who made it okay to not have an answer. Now she was gone, and I had to figure it out on my own. I sat in the empty house and thought about what Linda would want. She'd want me to let go, to move on, to stop carrying this weight. But I didn't know how, so I did the only thing I could. I wrote back. Jason, thank you for your letter. Your mother loved you too. She never stopped hoping we'd find a way back to each other. I don't know if we ever will, but I wanted you to know that I don't hate you. I'm just not ready. Maybe I never will be. But I'm not angry anymore. And maybe that's enough for now. Dad. I mailed it before I could change my mind. A week later, he wrote back. Dad, thank you. I don't need us to be close. I don't need forgiveness. I just need to know you're okay. That's enough for me. Jason. I didn't write back, but I kept the letter. Months passed. The house stayed empty. I went back to work, back to my routine, but something had shifted. I wasn't carrying the anger anymore, wasn't carrying the betrayal. I was just existing. And maybe that was okay. Maybe that was all I could do. Then one day, I got a call from a hospital. Jason had been in a car accident. He was alive, but hurt. They asked if I was his emergency contact. I don't know, I said. It says here you are. Then I guess I am. I drove to the hospital, took the elevator to the 3rd floor, found his room. He was awake, bruised, bandaged, but alive. Dad, he said when he saw me, surprise in his voice. They called me. I didn't think you'd come. I almost didn't, he nodded. Thank you for being here. I sat in the chair beside the bed, didn't say anything. How are you? He asked. I'm fine. Are you really? No, but I'm managing. I'm sorry about Mom. I know. I wish I could have been there. You could have. You chose not to. I didn't think you'd want me there. I didn't. He looked away. I understand. We sat in silence. Machines beeped. Nurses walked past in the hallway. Why did you come? He finally asked. I don't know. Yes, you do. I looked at him. Because you're still my son, no matter what you did. He closed his eyes. I don't deserve that. No, you don't. Then why? Because Linda would have wanted me to. Is that the only reason? No, but it's part of it. What's the other part? I'm tired of being angry. I'm tired of carrying this. I'm tired of being alone. I'm sorry I did this to you. I know. Do you believe me? I don't know, but I want to. He opened his eyes. That's enough. I stayed for an hour, then I left. I didn't visit again. But I called, once a week, just to check in. He was recovering, slowly, but he was okay. And so was I. Not great, not whole, but okay. And maybe that was all either of us could ask for. 2 years later, Jason called. Dad, I'm getting married. To who? Her name is Rachel. She's a teacher. You'd like her. I don't know about that. Will you come to the wedding? I didn't answer right away. I understand if you can't, he said. But I'd like you to be there, if you're willing. I'll think about it. That's all I ask. I thought about it for a week, then I called him back. I'll come. Really? Yes. But I'm not walking you down the aisle. I'm not giving a speech. I'm just there. That's it. That's more than enough. The wedding was in a small church. Simple, quiet, a few dozen people. I sat in the back, watched Jason stand at the altar, watched him smile when Rachel walked down the aisle. He looked happy, really happy, and I felt something. Not happiness, not forgiveness, but maybe acceptance. After the ceremony, Jason introduced me to Rachel. This is my dad. She smiled. It's so nice to meet you. Jason's told me a lot about you. I'm sure he has. He talks about you all the time. I looked at Jason. He looked embarrassed. That's surprising. He misses you, Rachel said. He wishes things were different. So do I. She nodded. Maybe someday they will be. Maybe. I didn't stay for the reception, just congratulated them and left. But I felt lighter somehow, like I'd closed a chapter I didn't know was still open. Jason called a week later. Thank you for coming. You're welcome. It meant a lot to me. I know. Can we stay in touch? Not like before. but maybe just check in once in a while? We can try. That's all I'm asking. And we did try. We called each other every few months, talked about small things, work, weather, nothing deep, nothing heavy, but it was something, and something was better than nothing. 3 years later, Jason called. Dad, Rachel's pregnant. Congratulations. Thank you. We're really excited. I'm happy for you. Will you want to meet the baby when it's born? I thought about it. Yes. Really? Yes. Thank you. When the baby was born, I went to the hospital, held my grandson, looked at his tiny face, and I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Hope. Not that things would go back to the way they were. They never would. But that maybe, just maybe, we could build something new, something different, something honest. Jason looked at me holding the baby. His name is David, after you. I looked up. You named him after me? Yes, if that's okay. It's okay. I want him to know his grandfather, if you're willing. I'm willing. And I was. Not because I'd forgiven Jason, I hadn't, but because this baby was innocent, and he deserved to know his family, all of it, even the broken parts. I visited once a month, watched David grow, watched him learn to walk, to talk, to laugh, and slowly, over time, I started to feel like myself again. Not the person I was before. That person was gone forever. But someone new, someone who'd survived, someone who'd learned what they were capable of when pushed, someone who understood that forgiveness wasn't always necessary, but moving forward was. Jason and I never talked about what happened, never addressed it directly, but it was always there, between us. A scar we both carried. And maybe that was okay. Maybe some things didn't need to be fixed, just acknowledged. I was 75 when David started asking questions. Grandpa, why don't you come to our house more? I'm busy. Dad says you don't like him very much. I looked at Jason. He looked uncomfortable. It's complicated, I said. Why? Because grown-up relationships are complicated. Did he do something bad? Yes. Did you forgive him? No. Why not? Because some things can't be forgiven. They can only be accepted. David thought about that. I don't understand. You will someday. Jason changed the subject, but that night he called. I'm sorry David asked you that. It's fine. No, it's not. I don't want him to think you hate me. I don't hate you. But you don't forgive me either. No. Will you ever? I don't know. Probably not. He was quiet. I understand. Do you? I think so. You gave me something I didn't earn. A relationship. A place in your life. And you don't have to give me more than that. That's right. Then I'm grateful for what I have. Good. We hung up, and I realized something. Jason had changed. Not completely, but enough. He understood consequences. He understood boundaries. He understood that some things couldn't be undone, and maybe that was enough. Maybe that was all I needed. I lived another 10 years, watched David grow into a teenager, watched Jason become a father, watched the years pass and the anger fade. And when I died knowing I'd done the right thing. I'd fought back, I'd protected myself, I'd refused to be a victim, and I'd built something new from the ashes. Not perfect, not whole, but real. And that was enough.